Hey there guys, Next-Gen Striker here, back again for another video. Today we're going to be talking about Young Justice Season 3 Outsiders. And before we get started, let me just remind you guys that I do have a Twitter and Instagram account that will be linked in the video description. If you want to check that out, feel free to. And also be sure to check out all my other Young Justice videos and the Young Justice playlist that I've created on my channel. So check that out as well. So today for this video, I wanted to do a topic that I didn't necessarily want to make a video on, but I feel like it's certainly a possibility, and if there's a possibility, let's go ahead and talk about it. So, could Young Justice Season 3 suck, be bad, or just be disappointing? It's a possibility. Now, is it a likely possibility? No, I don't think so. I'd say there's probably a 90% chance that this series is going to continue being excellent and that Season 3 is going to be another great season. I have high hopes for it. And no, I don't think it's going to suck at all. But it's possible that it could suck. When it comes to superhero series, especially, DC in particular, when it comes to that third season or that third movie, you guys know superhero films in general, when they get to the number 3 movie, actually movies in general in Hollywood, not just superhero, when they get to the third movie, they're pretty much burned out on ideas and all that. When it comes to TV series, if you look at the CW, which is primarily where a lot of the DC series come from, when they hit the third season, for whatever reason, the series just starts really getting bad or just not nearly as good. Arrow and Flash definitely come to mind on that. So that's definitely a possibility that, it could be that it was a fresh thing in Season 1, Season 2, they did a lot of ideas that they didn't get to use in Season 1, and now comes Season 3, they're out of ideas or things just aren't working as well anymore. Now, I don't think that that's necessarily true because they did have a 5-season plan when they created Young Justice. So I feel like at least when we get to Season 5, it should still be consistently good and have that same level of quality. But what they didn't expect to happen was for it to get canceled after Season 2 and for us to have to wait 5 years. And with that 5-year gap, we could either have improved quality where the creators got to really think to themselves, okay, during all this time, if it did come back, what would we do? What would we improve from what we'd already created from a possible script? It could be a beneficial thing, but it could also be a detrimental thing where maybe the creators had kind of already moved on from Young Justice and now they're being kind of almost forced to come back because it got brought back by popular demand. And so now they're kind of just having to scrape and pull at straws to kind of make this thing come together. So that's certainly a possibility, Another big thing that could happen, and this might be the most likely thing that could cause some disappointment in Season 3, and that is possibly that characters just don't get enough screen time. Now, Season 2 kind of had this problem already. It was a good season, and I really enjoyed the plot line of Season 2, and I feel like that overall the plot was more engaging than Season 1's because it was more of a consistent theme throughout, whereas Young Justice Season 1 took a little bit more to get going and it was more episodic at first. But the thing about Season 2 that was not as good as Season 1 was the character development, whereas Season 1, you had a few cast members, they all got development, they all got screen time, and they were all part of this big team. Whereas in Season 2, some of the characters just did not get as much time. We had a lot of new characters. Some of the new characters got great development, some not so much. And then some of the old cast members, Wally was barely in the season. Artemis as Tigress, I guess she had some time. Miss Martian and Superboy really didn't get to do that much. Nightwing being the team leader, he got a lot of screen time, but he didn't actually get to do a lot of fighting. And Aqualad, he was the quote-unquote bad guy, so he had a pretty cool role. But overall, in Season 2, we had some problems with character development, and now moving into Season 3, we're getting even more characters. So we're getting, Spoiler, Arrowette, Tracy 13, all these new characters, right? And then we're getting the Outsiders team, and we've got all the old characters coming back, and we have possible new characters getting introduced that we haven't even seen yet, and we have the villains, and we have the Justice League, and we have just the world in general and how they're going to react to a freaking Apocalypse invasion. We're going to have to deal with all of Apocalypse. I have a feeling that planet's going to come into play, and it could become a point where a lot of people were saying with Avengers Infinity War, it might be a problem where it's too stuffed. Well, that could also happen with this. It is Young Justice, but it is basically a universe-building series, and it's possible that they could overstuff it to the point where there's just too many characters and too many subplots and plot lines, and it just gets to the point where no one can really follow what's going on anymore, or it's just too confusing, or like I was saying earlier, it could just be possible that the characters, they just don't get enough time and they don't get enough meaningful development. And so that's certainly an issue that could potentially happen. Again, I think that overall Young Justice has high quality bar standard, and I don't think it's going to happen. So don't think that this is me making a hate video on Young Justice. That's definitely not what I want to do. But again, it's possible that this stuff could happen. Now, here's another thing that a lot of people have talked about, and it's certainly a very real possibility. If you look at other series who've kind of done the same thing, it's hit or miss. So now with Young Justice Season 3, we're getting this more adult, quote-unquote adult stuff thrown into it. So basically, with Young Justice Season 1 and 2, they were on Cartoon Network. It was primarily aimed at kids, right? Young boys, to be specific, because there were some problems with girls. I don't really understand that. It's pretty dumb. I think it's great if you have girls and guys liking it, right? But anyway, so it's primarily aimed at young boys. Now with Young Justice Season 3, it's being aimed towards the older crowd who, grew up with Young Justice at this point because it's been so long. And due to that, some people are concerned. They're like, what if they try and throw in some things that aren't necessary to Young Justice or to the entertainment in general? We are having that problem now with entertainment, unfortunately, where things are just thrown in. Social issues, political issues, that kind of thing. I'm not going to get into specifics because people are touchy, to say the least, on this kind of stuff. But that is concerns that I have seen people say. And it is possible that that could happen. Now, there's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. There's, of course. But, again, that's a very, very slippery slope. I know people were like one way or the other on that, so I am not even going to really touch that one. You guys can feel free to talk about it in the comments, but oof, I'm not about to start that fire. Nope. But anyway, the point is, it could happen. It could happen to where things are thrown into the series as an attempt to make it more adult or more grounded in reality or whatever the case is. And then it upsets the fans and people get really upset and they don't like the series as much anymore and it causes a rift and all this stuff. I don't want that to happen. I feel like that's definitely been a problem where something like Star Wars really stands out to me as something that the fandom's had a lot of problems, and I don't want that in Young Justice. I want the community. We've been so good and we've built each other up and we've finally got a Season 3, and I don't want there to be any rifts, but it is possible. And of course, we also have to talk about the fact that the entire medium has changed. So Young Justice Season 3, it's going to be on the digital streaming service DC Universe, and obviously that's not Cartoon Network. It's not the same as television. It's a streaming service. And because of that, the length of episodes, the delivery of episodes, all that could be changed, right? The demand of the series in general, the production time, all that could be different. Because of all that, we could possibly see some problems. Like, for example, let's say that Young Justice Season 3 needs more time to develop and DC's like, nope, we gotta come out with DC Universe now. This is the release date. Get it out anyway. And you could possibly see some animation problems or something like that. Again, I don't think that's likely because, heck, we've waited 5 years. This Season 3 better be just freaking 10 out of 10, right? Which, that in itself could lead to disappointment as well because we've just waited so long. But because of the digital platform, there could be a lot of unforeseen problems that could come out of this. And so, do take that into consideration. And it might not be a problem with Season 3 now because it's taken so long just to get this thing greenlit into where it's finally becoming a reality. But it could be possible that later down the line, you see this with a lot of popular series. It's where they don't want to end the series because it makes so much money, and then they just keep making them make Young Justice over and over and over, and it just gets to the point where, we're out of ideas, but we have to keep making it, and then it just goes down in quality. Again, I don't see any of this happening. I think really, as long as Young Justice sticks to its guns and pulls from the general pool of great DC Universe content, as well as continuing to have great stories and great characters and all that, I think Young Justice overall is going to be fine. Though I would throw out that they need to stay away from the New 52 as much as possible, just because a lot of the characterizations and plot lines were just kind of inferior as opposed to any other sort of continuity that DC's had. So just an air of caution, you know, creators of Young Justice. But anyway, I think Young Justice Season 3 is going to be awesome. But if you guys have any concerns or just any thoughts, make sure to tell me in the comment section down below. Thumbs up if you like, subscribe if you liked. That's all I have for now. Catch you guys later.